Comedy Film Nerds Podcast.
Do it. Let's talk about Murder on the Orient Express. This is a movie that I was pretty sure I wasn't going to see. And then
I'm shocked. When you said I saw this, so my first question, you saw it with the kids?
No, it was with my wife. So it was it was date night, and it was the kind of movie where she wanted to see it.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna
Murder on the Orient Express. That's what I call it when I have a one-night stand with a guy on my period.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Nice. That's the title of Esther's new album.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fantastic. So Audrey really wanted to.
She did, and I will say this. Normally, it wasn't a huge amount of choices for movies this weekend.
Right.
And it was also the kind of thing where, normally we could find something better to see, but this was one
ever
of those.
since they took off "I Love You, Daddy" got
Yeah.
taken away from the theaters.
What are you going to do? There's nothing to see.
Yeah, geez. So what are you gonna do?
So how did Kenneth Branagh, he directed this?
He directed it and he played the lead. And I like when a character mumbles their own name when they're introduced. I'm Hercule. I'm sorry. What did you say? Hercule. And it's
So it's a hat, a weird mustache, and mumbling?
It's mumbling and also the worst foreign detective accent since Inspector Clouseau. So, it's like Hercule Poirot.
That movie looked like what Clue would look like if it got made into a movie.
It pretty much, it was the kind of movie that on paper it must have been a great idea.
Movie in
it
the
was.
90s.
Oh, I never saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it had multiple endings.
Yeah, and some people still to this day think it's amazing.
Oh, really?
Depends what ending you see.
Yeah. I have some people like, oh, you got to watch this, and then you watch it, and you go, all right.
Yeah.
And we're going to get...
Why don't we just play the game?
It's good. I'll fight you.
Yeah, see, there's these movies. There's two movies, Clue and Hook, that's people of a
Hook's
certain
no.
age.
No.
People are wrong about Hook,
Yeah,
for sure.
it's not a good movie.
No,
No.
not even close.
But people, there's people just. I think if you saw Clue at a certain age when you were a kid or preteen or something, then it stayed with you, and you can't get past
What
the
about Clueless?
Clueless. That's a good movie.
It's a classic.
I like that. But Clue, why do you think?
I just rewatched it to be sure, and it's still good. It's still funny.
It's got some funny stuff. I had someone
All movies
make
better
me watch
than
it, and I liked it, but I was kind of making fun of it, and I think they got mad, like, well, you don't like this, and then
That'll happen.
That was the response. You don't like this.
you don't like this. No, fine, we don't have to watch it. I was like, no, I'm just because I was kind of mocking it.
Mm-hmm.
So
you didn't like it.
not really, no,
Yeah.
but I mean, I liked mocking it.
So Murder on the Orient Express is a movie that you would also have enjoyed mocking. So it's the kind of movie that, on paper, it must have been, such a good idea. It's a classic murder mystery. It's a classic story.
That's how these movies all get made.
It's full of celebrities.
On paper, they look great.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Wouldn't you want to see this?
And it's also, we'll update it with new effects and, great cinematography. We'll shoot it on 70 millimeter and all these
Amazing
elements.
costume designer.
Great costume design. We'll get Kenneth Branagh to direct it, give it some gravitas, and also to have him do the lead. So, on paper it must have been, this is going to be great. I'll tell you, in execution, this movie was so flat and boring that neither my wife or I liked it. Even she was like, I kind of wanted to see this movie, but boy, it's kind of dull and flat and boring. And it's not the fault of the source material. It's classic source material. It's like one of Agatha Christie's most famous stories. And also, as you're watching the film and it gets into depth of the actual murder and the background of it, you could see, it's funny how you can actually see while watching the movie, you go to yourself, well, the source material clearly is much better than what I'm being presented. So, and also you got Johnny Depp doing this gangster accent from the 50s and all these weird character choices from people. The other thing that I found fascinating is that, this was a very famous real train, the Orient Express. Right. It went from Paris to Giurgiu, Romania. So it was clearly a rather large train that would hold a lot of people. This train apparently ran out of celebrities, so there was not many people on the train. everyone's a suspect, but everyone also was like a celebrity. So you think,
So
well,
just
where's
tell us who
yeah,
killed
where
them.
was the yeah.
Because I don't plan on watching it.
Where was
and I don't
like,
think anybody listening to this will.
oh, I don't want to spoil it, but it was also like I'm watching this movie and I'm thinking, where are the rest of the passengers? Like this is an awful lot of train for 6 people, being played by celebrities. And there were more staff than there were actual
I don't like it when
passengers.
they cast celebrities in these big movies either, because it just takes you out of the story. You're like, there's Johnny Depp.
Right.
It really does. It really
and I
does.
feel like I'm just watching. It's one of those. It feels like one of those Hollywood movies where a bunch of rich people said, "Let's go to this exotic part of the world and get paid, and we'll just get paid to do dress up." And like they don't give a shit. Like I'm sure they had like.
They look at it like a paid vacation.
Yes, they
Yeah,
all hung out
yeah.
and had dinner together and went skiing or whatever the thing was, and then they just slapped this dumb thing together.
And I'll tell you, it's not like anyone did a horrible job. Everyone just did everything was mediocre in this movie. Like everything from the acting to the writing to the cinematography to
Even the
to
font
the
they
directing.
picked
Even the
for
font,
the title.
mediocre. Now,
Poster's
Really pick it
bad.
apart.
they tried to make it like more epic and sweeping with like computer shots of the train and going through the mountains and the snow, and some of that was really beautiful to watch. But at the end of the day, that's not what's going to drive
Maybe
the movie.
it's made for kids.
Yeah, no, kids would be bored out of their minds in this movie.
Well, the thing about this is, it's like the original one that came out in 1974 was directed by Sidney Lumet. It's a fantastic movie. Albert Finney's in it, Lauren Bacall and Ingrid Bergman.
Right.
And then this is just like Josh Gad and a bunch, as Jackie Cation would call it, a pile of haircuts.
Yes, Michelle Pfeiffer, and although Daisy Ridley from Last Jedi was in it, and so there was one interesting piece of trivia. In real life, there was one actual murder on the Orient Express. Maria Farcassinu.
Besides all the Chinese guys that they ran over
Right.
while they were building the railroad tracks.
They don't count.
Yeah.
They're not rich white people.
Yeah, was robbed and
They
murdered
didn't
by
count back
Karl
then.
Strasser, who pushed her out of the moving train 1 year after Agatha Christie's book was published. So, this is the kind of movie that, like I said, it was, and it's always, we got it at the end. They're like, trying to set up the next mystery where we'll see Kenneth Branagh return as this character. But even the character, like the way it's presented on film, it really came off as like an accented Sherlock Holmes with a crazy mustache. So like they didn't do enough to distinguish this character the way the character is meant to be portrayed. Like there's a lot more depth, obviously, in the books, and not a lot of that showed up in the film. So, but that was also one of the jokes, was the mustache. Like he even slept with like a mustache holder. So when he wakes up and like, oh, I get it. He has a mustache holder for his mustache.
Yeah.
But and it was such a weird accent. Like, is it French or what? So, but apparently the detective is Belgian. But there's no way you would listen to him talk and go, oh, that's clearly a Belgian accent. So it was definitely a miss, but it was
made for dumb Americans who can't tell accents apart.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it is. Oh, he's a foreigner. Hello, I'm a foreigner. Whatever. I'm from Mulbania.
Yes.
That's not a real country. Exactly.
Yeah. Top of the morning to
Yeah,
you.
it's just I have an accent from another country.
So, but Dame Judi Dench, I mean, there's so many people in this movie, but not a lot of passengers on the train. So it's all
They
these.
didn't have extras?
So that's what was weird. Like I would expect, like, it should be, because they even set up at the beginning, oh, the train is full. We can't, we don't have a seat for you, Hercule Poirot. But then when you get on the train, I'm like, well, it's just like it's about 8 celebrities and that's it. Then we won't even fill up the dining car. So even when they showed the train, I'm like, it looked like, oh, this is kind of a short, small train without a lot of cars on it.
They spent money all on the costumes.
Yeah.
They had a
So
mustache wrangler.
so
they had to-
yeah, really. That seemed like where the money went.
Into the mustaches. What was the blind item on the mustache
They
budget?
used real hair for the mustaches instead of horse hair. We're going all out.
Wow, they're just really gonna make it amazing.
So this movie is definitely a miss. It's one of those movies that even if you're stuck on an 18-hour flight, you might find something better to to watch.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this
Okay, was the murderer a female or a male? Just tell us that.
So I will not spoil it.
Okay, blink your right eye.
Yeah.
If it's a female.
okay. All right. We got it.
So it's one of those movies that all right, on cable for free, even on a plane, maybe you could check it out, but it was definitely like one of those big Hollywood misfires.
Right. If you're having trouble falling asleep tonight,
yes.
you suffer from insomnia, put on Murder on the Orient Express.
You could tell like what they really wanted to do. They wanted to make an old school Hollywood, big budget, epic kind of
$55 million budget, by the way.
Mystery.
for this
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
The only reason to watch this is to see how Michelle Pfeiffer is aging.
Which is pretty well, I will say this. In fact, she sings Never Forget over the closing credits of the film. The song was co-written by composer Patrick Doyle and director star Kenneth Branagh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. A bunch of rich Hollywooders got together and made a movie that they had fun making it. And they all
I'm
got
sure they
paid
did.
well, and
Yeah.
Then you and
Not many people saw
you
it.
and your wife then had to suffer through it.
Yeah. We're kind of bored. So
all right.
So there, Murder on the Orient Express.
So there.
Yeah.
Well, also another reason why Hollywood makes these like movies that happened like 100 years ago is so that they could keep employing white people.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
It's just like
we didn't have black people who rode trains back then, so we had to cast all white people again.
keep more whites. There's a trailer we watched.
To be fair, one black passenger, also a suspect.
Well, thank you.
Oh, it was a black guy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Johnny Token. What was his name? Who's in
Jamal Token.
Jamal Token. All right.
I shot first, kitten heads across the